What's up, YouTube? It's Daniel with Phoenix Solutions. I wanted to do a quick video. Started my morning, checking my socials, doing some business development, doing some stuff, working on the business, and find myself in a little bit of a quiet moment right now. So wanted to come out here and do a video. I frequently go on 8-mile walks. It's something I don't do every day, but pretty close to it. So figured I'd come out here on my walk and do a video at the same time. And the video that I'm doing now, I'm going to call Short Plays and Long Plays, Habits and Metrics. And basically what I aim to do is I aim to talk a little bit about what it is to be a business owner, the mindset of a business owner, and habits that help and hurt your prospect of being successful as a business owner. To start that, I want to talk for a minute about short plays and long plays. What are short plays and long plays? Well, every individual, no matter who you are, you have a variety of different skill sets and weaknesses. Short plays and long plays. As a business owner, hang on, it's a little bit loud. I'm gonna walk by these dudes mowing. Okay, short plays and long plays. What are they? Business owners, especially when you're launching your business and you're still trying to really build your company up from nothing. It's really important that you try to generate activity for your company that will be able to keep the lights on, that you can pay your bills, that you can generate income that will make things float for you. And basically, as a very young business, your aim is to do whatever you can to generate that money immediately so that you can pay what you need to pay. And these are short plays. Now, short plays can be both activities that generate an income that drive you towards what you aim to do as a company, or they don't have to be. They can be stuff that you just take on for the purpose of paying those bills. If you start your company and you know that you can't support your company financially immediately, taking on a job, a traditional 9-to-5, to pay the bills, to keep the lights on, is a short play. You know that, you aim in the future to establish your company to a point where it can generate the revenue that it needs to support itself, but that's not going to happen immediately. So a short play would be to take on a job to generate that income that you need to support your business in the short term. A long play is another mower. ambitious. A long play is similar to a short play in that it can be both something that you aim to do for your company longer term, and that's really the kind of activity that you aim to generate ultimately. But sometimes performing a long play can also be the type of activity that isn't necessarily what you would aim your business to do in the long term, but it is for the purpose of establishing that long-term health for your company. It's a plan that you put into action that you can see yourself generating some sustaining revenue that will give you the flexibility to float on top of while you really kick your company into high gear. So examples of short plays are stuff like what I've been doing with LaborWorks. It's something that I can go in there, I can receive an assignment, and then I can pop out immediately on a gig that I will get paid for by the end of the day. That's a short play. Again, another short play might also be going to get a traditional 9-to-5 job that you work for however long you need to pay everything so that you don't go under while you're building your company up. Long plays, if you are in an industry, like say, just for an example, say you start a company, a painting company, a long play might be trying to establish yourself on a network that connects painters with potential clients looking to get their painting done. Now, that type of activity doesn't immediately generate revenue, but it does put you in a pool of potential activity that will lead to generating that income. So, short plays and long plays. Another long-term play, let's say, going back to the example of that painter, like I said, sometimes long plays aren't necessarily, short plays and long plays, aren't necessarily revenue creating activities that shoot towards your goal. So let's use that example of the painter, of the guy starting up that painting business. Maybe perhaps on the long-term play, he is really attempting to put himself out there on those networks, and he knows that it might be some time before he can really generate some activity building up his painting company with those lead sources that he's pursuing. So another long-term play might also be that guy advertises services, cleaning houses, and that long-term play might shape the business owner's mentality to finding a new marketable avenue for his company, so it might lead to something in the long term that perhaps he wasn't immediately considering for his business. But as he's pursuing this avenue, he really likes the look of it, the feel of it, and he sees that there's money to be made in that market. So he dips his toe in that market, which is an interesting point. The more flexible that you can be in your business, in terms of how dead set you are about doing one thing or another, really impacts the vitality of your company. If you can be flexible, if you have the ability to be flexible and not pin yourself, not place all of your eggs in one basket, the higher the potential is for you to really develop traction in your company and do well for yourself. Now, if you have a strong desire for something, nothing's saying that you can't strongly pursue that avenue, that market. But if you pigeonhole yourself into one market and you don't pursue other avenues that are viable for you, then you're going to put your company in some jeopardy of not launching. And that's an incredibly important point. You have to be flexible as a business owner. You have to be capable of making decisions for your company that are going to be beneficial for it in the long term. And then you have to have the acumen to make financial decisions in the short term to support yourself while you're developing into the long term. So those are two very important concepts, the short term and the long term. Some examples, every business owner should be trying to learn about finances constantly. Learn how finances work, learning about themselves, and creating good financial habits. That's honestly, in my experience, that in and of itself is a lifelong course. Some people are naturally way better at it than other people. I personally am not great at finances. That's something that, for me, at the very least, I feel like that's just going to be a long-term course for me. But everybody's different. One thing that I do is I do have a couple of investment profiles. Those are definitely long-term plays, right? I have what? Three investment profiles right now currently that I'm actively developing, and a good thing about that is that it's a good way to learn about finances too, right? It's good. It's a good way to figure out how to make good financial decisions, So I would encourage you, if you have the ability to, and you don't have, or you haven't yet started an investment profile, I would recommend it for sure. If one of your strengths is artistic creativity in other areas, if you're just generally a creative person, I would leverage that as a long-term play. Or, there's a possibility that if you are that person, you're really trying to build your company centric around being creative, and that's fantastic. But even if you aren't, like if you're that painter guy, going back to that painter, if you have some type of creativity in some other market, some other interest, or if you know that generally you're really great artistically doing this, I would leverage that. I would create activity being creative in that area, and I would see what sort of revenue that you could generate leveraging that. The idea is to constantly be looking around as a young business owner for avenues that you can generate revenue. And the more areas and avenues that you have that you can generate revenue with, the more viable your business will be in the long term. So it really is an important thing, to be aware of and pursue, if you are pursuing in building a business from the ground up the way that I am. Let's talk a little bit about habits. Once you start as a business owner, if you've never been a business owner before, it's really, really important to learn how to think about generating money differently. And that is going to mean creating new habits and destroying old detrimental ones. When I was an employee, there was about a 3-year period when I was desperate to find something that was more financially viable and more stable for myself. And the only way that I saw at the time of being able to create that was to launch myself into business for myself. And this was the first time that this was the 3 years preceding my first time launching myself into business. And I really struggled. I really struggled with knowing what to do and how to do it. And what I learned is that it's not just as simple as waking up one day and saying, I'm going to go do my own thing, quitting your job and going and doing it. What comes with being a business owner is a complete mindset shift. You have to completely learn to rethink about money. Because when you're an employee, you go to work for a week or 2 weeks or a month, whatever interval your pay schedule is on, and you know that at the end of that interval, you're going to get paid. Okay? When you're a business owner, that is not there for you any longer. You don't get paid unless you generate activity that is financially resourceable. So, in order to get to the point where you can create activity that is financially resourceable, you have to change how you think about a whole lot of life. I always say to people who I have similar conversations with that my beard was my very first successful business, because I started growing my beard really when I started getting interested in being in business for myself. And the reason why I call it my first successful business is because you can't grow a healthy full beard like this over the course of a week. I have a couple of years of time investment in this beard, and doing something that requires that type of time investment is a great way to learn about what it takes to invest into doing something like that. And that's an important concept that you're going to have to grab onto in order to be a successful business owner. The other thing that I do quite regularly, just as I'm doing now, is going out on a walk. In the beginning of this, when I launched my company for the first time, nearly every day for a couple of years, I would come out on this walk and I would do 8 miles. That's how long this route takes me. But when I very first started out, what I did is I downloaded a pedometer on my phone, and I was tracking my steps. And initially, I wasn't doing the whole 8 miles. I was just doing a particular length of this route, and I was tracking my steps. And what that did for me is it taught me how to take a look at trends and following trends. And I was out here walking as I'm doing, and I was watching my numbers every day. And it gave me the feeling of tracking something, and that taught me good habits about tracking metrics, distance and number of steps. And it was inconsequential in the long run. Obviously, it wasn't generating revenue, but it was a good mindset trainer to be doing that. When you're very new to being a business owner, these are tools that you can use to help shift your mindset over, so that you can put yourself in a place to be ready as a business owner. When you are a business owner, you stop thinking about money in terms of your pay schedule interval. With a job, you work that length of time, you get paid, and the activity that you put in to get that paycheck is done and over with. Nothing comes out of that anymore. But when you transition into being a business owner, that's not the case. The value that you end up resourcing from the activity that you generate doesn't end when you get paid. When you're a business owner, the value of your work to your customer continues to generate business for you, because, and especially when you're a business owner, you're going to want to develop reviews and put yourself out on platforms that people can take a look at who you are as a business owner, the type of work that you've done in the past, and whether or not your services are going to be valuable for them. And that means that your value as a business owner is dependent on that type of activity. The more work you do for clients, the more reviews you get from those clients, positive or negative, generates it generates a wider view from your audience, right? More people are going to be able to find you based on that activity. So the value of the activity that you generate as a business owner does not end when you get paid. And that's an important mindset to develop when you are a business owner. That's how you grow your company right there. Which really transitions us into following metrics. And like I said before, the first metrics that I was following were that pedometer app that I was using. But that really set me up well to want to follow my metrics through the various sources and avenues of work that I was generating back then. And that is integral to developing your business, because it allows you to track how healthy your business is, because a growing business is a healthy business. A stagnant or declining business is not. So always be finding ways of tracking metrics, whether it be from the standpoint of activity that you're generating to feedback that you're getting from your clients. Always be generating a metric that you can look at that will inform you about how your business is doing. These are all incredibly important concepts if you intend to be a business owner and own your own company and get to the point that you can actually support yourself and potentially then develop your company into something that will support others. So I know this is sort of a long rant, but these are important ideas that I think will benefit a lot of people who are interested in becoming a business owner. I'd love to hear your feedback on these ideas. I'd love to hear what you guys think. As always, drop down into the comments below. You can leave your comments there, or head over to my Facebook, Phoenix Solutions. A little picture of a yellow and silver Phoenix with Phoenix Solutions underneath, and that's me. At any rate, thank you guys so much for standing by through this little rant. I hope that you pulled something valuable from it. I know these ideas, these concepts are not only beneficial for business, but also for other avenues of your life too. So even if you aren't interested in being a business owner, you can apply some of these ideas and concepts to your life in other areas. But at any rate, I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for being with me. Like and subscribe, and I look forward to catching up with all of y'all in the very near future. Daniel with Phoenix Solutions. Take it easy, y'all.